Welcome back to another episode of The Art Study of You. I am your host, Cameron Gilmore, and I am warm today because it is chilly outside and I refuse to turn on my heater because we have a fireplace going. And when you're at the house with no kids, this is what you do, right? Hey, so this is part two of my conversation with Joy Millner. Look, up to this point, we've been indoctrinated by wellness and just not allowing your circumstances to dictate your future self. I cannot believe what Joy has gone through, from her life of growing up with a manic depressant mother to losing your mom at 23 and then trying to find yourself and your balance in life. Then starting working out, 30 plus years ago, and just fell in love with it and knew that her calling was bigger than what she thought or envisioned for herself. Going door to door, knocking on people's door to say, hey, listen, would you be interested if I taught you about wellness and working out? I mean, come on. Getting into that space, that zone of genius. You hear me talk a lot about the zone of genius. Well, this book right here, that's right. Shout out to Gay Hendricks and The Big Leap. Get you into that space of understanding your zone of genius, also understanding when you're hitting your upper limit. Now, as we have learned and continue to learn, her passion of really, truly what wellness is all about. It's not just because I was ignorant to the whole process. I think of, well, got to eat right, and then I got to go to the gym, and then I got to diet, and then I got to suffer, right? Because I love to eat good food, which good food to me probably is not good food on the scale of food pyramids, right? But what I found out and what I learned is this wellness in a holistic approach is mind, body, soul, spirit, the breath work, stretching, getting up and moving, doing small measurements that will lead to the biggest results. And I absolutely love that, especially now as you get, this is coming out, it's Thanksgiving week. Understand it, get up and move, get up and go, right? Maybe not pile it on the big old platters, right? Maybe spaced out how you eat. In fact, part two is going to be all about just portion control and understanding how to discipline yourself. I love this word discipline. We hear discipline, you think of, oh, I did bad and there's a slap on the hand, or I did bad and I got to go sit in the corner. No. Discipline is about training yourself, training your mind, your body, keeping all of those urges and desires at bay. And I absolutely love that. I love this discipline coming up. We're going to hear a lot more about that from Joy. She's going to crush it, as this episode is already being crushed. People, you guys are doing a great job of just listening to this, but I hope you're doing a better job of applying these small little principles, these little small changes in our life. There's things as you're growing, as you're moving to progress, to become a better version of yourself. Your future self is pulling you and pushing you and prodding you at times to be better than what you think you are. And that's the beauty of this. You're going to lose a lot of things along the way as you self-improve, as you grow your mind, right? You're going to lose negative thoughts. You're going to lose individuals that don't share the same energy, the positive energy, right? You're going to lose that ability to not control. Hey, maybe I don't need, this food that is probably going to cause me, aches and pains. I know certain foods that I eat cause inflammation in my body, right? But to cut cold turkey is extremely hard. So I temper it down. You are going to lose people. You're going to lose. But the only way to gain is by pushing yourself to become better, by getting the wellness of your mind, getting that clarity, slowing down, appreciating the things that are around you. I love that. I love this part of the interview with Joy Millner. She's going to go through all of that, plus her recommended books. Get a hold of her. All the links will be down below in the bio. Guys, continue to like, share, and send it to somebody who just really needs to know that it doesn't matter your life circumstances. You have the choice. You have the choice to choose how you want to live the rest of your life, to make it the best of your life. Here is part two of my interview with Joy Millner. I need to give a shout out to my biggest sponsor Warrior Energy Drink. The reason why we partnered together is because we have the same mindset, we have the same drive. We're for the people, we're about the people. Look, Warrior Energy Drink has 0 sugar options, and they got water as well. Low calories, great taste, very affordable, no crash, big energy fast, high in B vitamins, awesome design, culture design, 160 milligrams of caffeine. Other energy drinks have way too much, and they're always giving it back to their community. They're paying it forward. Partner with them, guys. Click the link below. Go get yourself your own Warrior Energy Drink and go crush today. Oh, I had to sit composed while you were just hitting us in the face. Guys, that was a straight right hook to your jaw. She's basically saying, no more excuses, no more BS. You can't lie to me because I've heard it all for 30 years. She said, if you don't eat the bag of chips, take 10 potato chips out, break them in half, eat them, and enjoy the way it tastes. So many times we just shove it in there and we don't even, unbelievable.
It's amazing how little it will take if we slow everything down to satisfy us. It's amazing the changes that we can have if we take control before we do things than after. It's much easier than we think.
Slow down to satisfy. I love that. Because what you're seeing, look, this is what I'm seeing. If you watch TV, all the commercials are, hey, this new drug, this is what it's called. I don't know, some Greek name or some weird name that they come up with. Oh, here's all the side effects, and they read it really quick. Oh, but it helps me. Right. That's what you see on TV. You go on any social media, you see a ton of fitness, health, nutrition. Like, it's amazing to see this big tug and pull on the eyeballs that people are watching. Joy is saying, get up, do something. If you have 2 stories, if you, like me, have a basement, walk up a flight of stairs, walk up those stairs, rest, but get your heart going and watch that flow, that energy flow.
It's huge. It's huge. And it's all of these things that make us feel better, right? It's not slapping ourselves with a pill or doing something. It's like, let's see if we can break this down, because ultimately, if you truly are invested in feeling better, then we can all do this together. There are no excuses, because this isn't like other parts of life where it's like more. We're not asking you to run a marathon. We're not asking you to do things that are uncomfortable. We're asking you to trust us to tell you that there are small things that you can do that will absolutely change your life in the most beautiful ways.
I'm going to say this, guys. Look, I know you're probably like, all right, shut up. How do we get a hold of you? We will have all of her contacts, connections, 100%. They will be in here. You guys can get it. I need to say this statement because what you have just seen is full circle, right? You have seen Joy come full circle. Growing up the way that she grew up, probably not feeling like she could help because she just did not understand how she could help her mom. And now for 30 years, she's been in a space to where she can help people. Somehow, some way, she is feeling this gratitude that, yes, she could not have helped the person that she loved the most, but by golly, she can help people that she may not know from Adam, but she can help them simplify the process and become well-educated, become better food eaters, and respect what they put in their mouth. If Joy would have raised the hand and said, I'm going to play the blame game, life sucked, here I am, we would not have the masterclass we just went through.
Well, and also I want to tell you, it's like life changes, time changes, generations change, right? Things are different. But I can tell you from back in the day when the caveman had the spear and they were eating off the earth, wellness never, ever changes. Every single day of my life, I see something that makes it even more important. Stress caused by what, right? Politics, COVID, news, all day, every day. There are things that are making this journey harder for us. But the wellness component and the things that I preach about self-care and treating people the way you want to be treated and wellness never, ever goes out of date. And it's more needed now than ever. And that continues to fascinate me.
I love it. Ooh, shout out to the hot wife. She always tells our kids, and I love this, and me. She says, if it doesn't have a mom or come from the ground, you probably shouldn't want to eat it. or overeat it. Had
Well,
to
and
put it
it's
in
that's
here.
why there wasn't that disease back in the day, because why are all these scientists spending all this time on research, but there still is so much sickness and disease? It's because we're going backwards, right? We started from the earth. So that's why, like, one of my goals when I talk to my clients is one day a week, one day. How about if you either after 3 o'clock or the entire day, you only eat things with 5 ingredients or less? It forces us to look at nutrition labels. It forces us to understand what we're eating. So all of these little goals that we can set for ourselves makes such a huge difference. And having one day where you honestly eat from the earth, you will see the difference in how you feel and how much more energy you have.
Okay, guys, look, she brought up something I want to because I actually went and found a stat on this. What she just said, I was waiting for the perfect time, and this is the perfect time. Let me read this stat. Um, stat says, according to statistics, mental related illnesses in the United States have been on the rise. 19.8% of adults are experiencing mental health problems. Evaluate to about 50 million Americans, or 4.91% are experiencing a severe mental illness. Other studies have shown that many people are unhappy and depressed, and others have issues with self-esteem, self-love, and self-confidence. My question,
Wow.
my question to you, the top of the echelon of knowledge, Joy, what you just made a statement of, we have all of these scientists doing all these studies to try to figure out how to self-esteem issues, self-love, self-confidence, mental illnesses. But what you're saying, start by something simple as eating from the earth. Bring us into that wellness now. Let's go full circle. How do we? Hey, everybody, I want to take this quick second here. A lot of you asked me, what journal do I use? My family use? Simple, this journal right here. See, my buddy Craig Smith has spent years and years developing a journal that takes everything that's up in here and puts it on paper so we can be edified and grow. So if you don't know what to write about, which oftentimes happens, he gives you ideas. And if you want power statements, things that say, I am this, he gives you those ideas. Now, when you look at on one page, it says, this is what I'm accomplished, this is what I am statements, and there's a quote every single day that you get to write on and focus on. The second page is write your daily thoughts, get it out of your head, put it on paper to be the best version of yourself. The link's down below. Listen, I get no money for this. It's just, I believe in this journal. I love this journal. It's changed my life, my family's life. And if you want, it'll change your life as well. How do we then start to put this wellness into practice to spread a good pandemic will have it spread?
So, I mean, we could talk about this for so long, Cameron, but let's say if we start with nutrition, right? I mean, knowledge is power. I say that all the time. So let's say you go into the grocery store. Typically, most of the foods from the earth are in the exterior aisles of the grocery store, and they tend to put a lot of the processed foods in the middle of the store. But it's also understanding, for example, I focus a lot on carbohydrates. I think most of us are eating way too many carbohydrates and not getting near enough protein. So I even start with something basic like protein. Let's say the American Heart Association says, carbohydrates, that you're not supposed to have more than 300 grams of carbohydrates a day. Let's start with something basic, right? Carbohydrates, the ones that are unhealthy for you, come from breads and sugars, pastas. Those are things that our bodies don't like in large portion, especially sugar. So for example, let's say if you started watching a label these days with Google, you can Google anything. I mean, there's apps that you can use, but you can Google how many grams of carbohydrates are in my banana. Let's say you set a goal for tomorrow. For one day, your goal is going to be to try to eat no more than 300 grams of carbohydrates a day. Just educating yourself on what you're taking in. How much is it? I mean, you could eat, let's say one bowl of pasta alone could have 50, 60, 70 grams of carbohydrates. I do a lot of seminars on fast foods. So how you can eat fast foods the healthy way. And I have lots of nutrition guides on, for example, let's say a Wendy's, all these places. One large French fry may have 110 grams of carbs and hundreds of calories, where a small fry will have 65 grams of carbs and, 75 calories. So I'm not saying don't eat fast food. I'm saying let's find options of portion control and mindful eating that you can enjoy the things you want. So I feel like educating yourself on nutrition labels. To me, a lot of times I'll focus on calories and carbohydrates. So understanding how much we're taking in from that standpoint. So just being able to read labels and starting with, let's say, 2,000 or less calories a day, depending on what your wellness goals are. But everything you eat for a day, educate yourself. How many carbohydrates, how many calories are in there? So I feel like knowledge is power, and we will see that we are eating way too much, right? If we take half of a Snickers bar and then take half of that and mindfully eat it in portion control, we're taking in so much massively less sugar, which is really killing all of us. So from a nutrition standpoint, I would say as a goal, start with counting carbohydrates and calories and see what you're doing. Are you, let's look at 300 grams of carbohydrates as a base and see where we go from there. The fitness part of it, we could talk about all day, but I feel like setting a small goal of, for us, really just moving. In a perfect week, would I love for you to get in 15 minutes of strength and 15 minutes of stretch and 15 minutes of high intensity cardio? I mean, I'm not asking for much. And even small changes will create these huge results. So maybe tomorrow your goal is, I'm going to get out and walk for 5 minutes, but I'm not asking you to just walk. I'm asking you to really walk fast for 30 seconds and then walk normal for 30 seconds. How does it feel when you get uncomfortable and your heart is beating fast and you have trouble carrying on a conversation? So these days, my job is so easy, honestly, because there's so many videos. Let's take YouTube, right? You can Google a 15-minute basic body stretch on YouTube, and there's some amazing choices. So, I can give people access to all of those things. It doesn't necessarily have to be me, but with technology, there's so many things you have access to that you didn't. And then as far as really the stress piece, I think is one of the biggest things we're going to focus on, that is, how can I reduce stress? I do an amazing breathing session for people. It could take 5 minutes. I go into board meetings. I do it for large groups, but it's amazing how we assess a before and after breathing session. And let me backtrack a second and tell you that parts of our body that are never tapped into get stale and they get very sick. So something as simple as breath, like right now, I guarantee you most people watching this are breathing very shallow. But if you really take a big inhale and you take big exhale, not only are you moving the breath to different parts of your body, you're waking them up. You're helping yourself with disease just by tapping into breath. And then we'll take it a step further where we breathe in a really positive, peaceful blessing on an inhale, and we exhale out something that is not serving us well. So maybe something sitting on our brain that is causing us stress or that we can't control. But I envision before these breathing sessions, we have a very dark, foggy, cluttered brain. And then after the breathing session, when you're exhaling a lot of this out through your extremities, you feel so much more peaceful and calm. So practicing self-care and practicing stress relief, even by just removing some stress in your brain. And again, I would recommend doing it with breath more than anything. And it can take no more than a couple minutes, life-changing.
Oh my, the expectation of what we were going to talk has been blown out. We're in the stratosphere right now with the knowledge that you're giving. I want to say this because I know the breath work is one thing that I really focus on a lot. I really haven't didn't really come to grips of why breathing, right? But as I've talked to not only you, but multiple people have said breath work, breathing, breath work, breathing. And it is this massive push that I see about breath work and what it brings. I want to ask this question. When you breathe in, I'm talking about really deeply breathing in. You talk about hitting parts of the body that don't really get it. Does it enhance senses? Does it enhance clarity? It obviously it drops the stress level, but is the breathing deeply in, is it enhancing something for us to make us more aware, or is it helping us give us clarity? Just if you could just talk a few minutes about that point, because I think it's very important. I personally don't know. That's why I'm asking.
Well, and I can tell you that stress is awful. Like when we are stressed, our bodies are producing cortisol and hormones. Literally, our body doesn't know the difference. At the end of the day, it's a calculator, right? It assesses your stress, it assesses your calories in, your calories out movement, and it works accordingly. So Our bodies don't know the difference if we're eating a cheeseburger or we're producing hormones because we're stressed. So I don't think people understand, like, I don't need to, I'm going to maybe watch my weight today, but I'm living with just a time bomb in my brain because there's so much stress in my life. So stress in general is a huge detriment to health. And you could read about it all day, every day. I mean, it's causing horrible problems within humans. So yes, for the mind more than anything, to answer your question. I mean, releasing the stress from our brain through breath is huge. It helps relax us. It helps ground us. It helps remove the clutter in our being. But it also makes us more peaceful. It makes our body physically perform better, and it does awaken your body. So there's lots and lots of benefits to it. Some of them are more direct than others, but it honestly is the reduced stress and the getting your hormones settled and getting your body reacting to some kind of a calm that has tremendous health effects that people don't see. It's not something that direct, but if you practice it and you watch your reduction in stress levels and you watch your self-care, it's amazing how much better you feel as a person. Forget the physical attributes, but then it's that same concept that it transforms into all these areas of your life because you feel better. You do better because you feel better. And that's the bottom line to all of this. How can we feel better?
Mm, mm, mm. Man, you listen to this, you don't even need a cup of coffee in the morning. This will just get you jacked out of your mind, out of your freaking mind. Man, that was good. All right, we're running out of time, which sucks because we, like you said, we could talk more and more. I want to ask, I want you to explain a little bit more about sugar.
Mhm.
I'm talking with you, and then some other people that I've spoken with. Sugar is the most addictive thing out there. 100%. I've heard it. I've read studies. I've talked, and you mentioned it multiple times in our conversation. And you don't have to go to great depth, or you can. But
Mhm.
what is it about sugar that our body just doesn't like? Because heck, when I taste now, there are multiple forms of sugar, right? We know rename sugar something else. High fructose. Oh, there's one. Or like glycemia. I can't even say it. But there's all of these things. Like you said, if you can't pronounce it, you probably shouldn't eat it. Just take us a
Yeah.
little bit on the world of sugar and what it's doing to us.
Well, and I would love for you to Google 50 code words for sugar. Google it anytime, today, tomorrow, the next day. You will not believe there's hundreds of code words for sugar. So these companies are going to tell you there's no sugar in here in some form, but it's everywhere. It's almost like gluten to me. I consider it like glue. When our body is at peace, you feel longevity, you feel healthy, you feel lighter. Our bodies don't know how to process sugar. Sugar didn't exist in the day, right? I mean, I could tell you that, I approve stevia. Stevia is one of the only sugars that I approve. I mean, even honey or agave, there are healthier, more natural forms of sugar, but that's what people do. They use it as an excuse and say, oh, great, this has honey in it. Well, honey is still sugar. Our bodies don't know what to do with it. So it's fight or flight. Our bodies work very hard to try to break it down. There's a whole glycemic index. We won't get into the technicalities of it, but basically you're forcing your body to work much harder to break something down, which means it's taking away from feeling healthy. It's working overtime to try to move these things through your body. And it reduces our energy levels. It causes cancer. It's not so much if it wasn't a small amount of sugar, but what's happening is it's coming in so many different forms. And you're right, there is an addictive quality to it. It does make us feel better, but there is not one health value at all to eating sugar. It just makes our body work very hard from a physical standpoint. I could get in the technicalities of it. So educate yourself on the 50 code words of sugar. So look at an ingredient label. That's another one of my amazing goals is, can I have one day where I eat foods with no added sugar the whole day? It is so gratifying and extremely challenging. So I'm not saying we shouldn't eat sugar, but it's all about portion control. It's not good for us. It doesn't make our body feel good. It provides disease for us. So it's like anything else, it's portion control. Understanding what an ingredient label looks like in a package in the grocery store and how many times sugar is listed in that label. So, if you're going to have a small portion during a day, like I love, dark chocolate. I love a little treat after dessert, but I after dinner, but I portion out my little portion and I mindfully eat it, and it is delicious and it satisfies so much. Another thing that I'll teach people is gum is really powerful. So if you're having a sugar craving, have a small portion and mindfully eat something that you enjoy that has sugar in it, and then chew a piece of gum. Take a break for 5 minutes, assess how you feel. If you really feel the need to have more, then you can allow yourself another portion. But it's amazing how gum cuts the cravings of those sugar addictions. So I use that a lot, and it really does make a difference.
Oh, man. That was
It's a lot.
beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Because I know people are listening to this go, well, I really love sugar. Yeah, this is how you break it. Go through, the link will be down. We'll have the link and the 50 code words for sugar. I will have that in this.
Yeah.
It'll pop up. Probably see it right here in my head. It will come. I'm telling you guys, this is a master class.
And one other thing I recommend is if you're craving sugar, drink a glass of water, maybe 4 to 8 ounces, eat 1 serving of a vegetable, like 5 grape tomatoes, a few slices of cucumber. I could go on and on and on, things that most people don't consider something they would do, but make all the difference in the world. Then choose to eat a small serving of sugar, but do something that makes you feel good before you do something like that. You won't feel nearly as good eating all those amounts of sugar. It helps.
Woo-hoo! I don't want it to end. I know people are like, please don't say this is the end, but this has been fantastic. An absolute gem and a treat. This has been amazing. I knew this was going to be good. This has exceeded every expectation. This will be played and listened to and gone back. Share it with your friends. Have your kids listen to this. Wow. Okay.
Well, and my goal is really quickly is that we all take away something from this that helps us do something wonderful to others or makes ourselves feel better. That is the ultimate takeaway. It's just to feel a hug coming from this, honestly, that makes us feel better.
Giant hug. Oh, the beauty of this, I get to listen to this over and over again before it comes out and just receive all that wonderful information. So before we let you go, please tell us about, you've heard it all throughout this episode of, the fit and food connection. Tell us about that mission. Tell us about the company. I mean, we've sprinkled it in all throughout, but this is, you guys need to Google this. I'll have the links on here, but this is absolutely powerful and life-changing.
Thank you, Cameron. I love that. So it's called the Fit and Food Connection. You can find us on fitandfoodconnection.org. And we're a nonprofit located in St. Louis, Missouri. And our mission and our passion is to go into underserved communities and provide access to healthy living. We have an organic garden where we grow a lot of our crops. We have a food pantry delivery that's all healthy food and is delivered. We have wellness classes. We have a one-on-one coaching where we work with individuals with very special needs. We take their health stats. So our goal is just to go into these communities and really provide access to make people feel better. We have fundraisers. We're a really small staff. We have tons of volunteers. Every single thing we provide to people is free. And it just makes me feel so much better that we can go out and provide these bridges for people. And we're doing it through the Fit and Food Connection.
I mean, look, guys, these people are getting years and years and years of knowledge. And she is systematically, generational change is what Joy is doing. She is changing a generation for millennials. And I cannot be more thankful that we had her on our show. This has been absolutely a bang out show. Last question as we wrap up this amazing interview. If you were to see your 5-year-old self today, what do you think she would say to you?
I love your questions. She would say to me, take the innocence that you feel now and carry it throughout your whole life. And I feel like that is one of my gifts is I look at children and I see their innocence and they have no idea of the problems of the world. They don't feel the stress that people feel. And I feel like I literally took a lot of my 5-year-old self of that innocence and that ability to see others as equals and see the world as a simple, peaceful place, and to not process all this crazy information, just look at things at their face value. So I would say thank you so much for stopping time for me and allowing me to carry on that innocence through my adult life. It's helped me tremendously.
I love it. I always, that question I love. It's so much fun to ask. All right. Top 5 books you would recommend anybody to read. It could be personal development. It could be business, mindset, spiritual. It could be whatever. Give me 5 books that you would recommend someone to read.
So I read a ton of autobiographies. I love like real stories of people in their life and how it's affected them. Matthew McConaughey wrote one 2 years ago or last year that I found to be amazing. And I liked it because I got to learn about a celebrity, but I also got to hear a lot of positive spiritual things. So I took a lot of good lessons from that book. Maya Angelou has a whole book of sayings. She's just one of my favorite people. There's just maybe once a day or every other day, I'll pull a saying from her book. And it really is just very real and applicable. And so I use a lot of that to get through my day. The Food Therapist was a great book on just how to understand the relationships of food. Keep Calm and Breathe is a great book that I love. It's very simple about just how to keep things in perspective. And then lastly, I would say your second life begins when you realize you only have one. So I read a lot of self-help books on helping us keep things in perspective as things continue to come at us and challenge us. How can we stay grounded and how can we be true to the simplicity of feeling better?
Oh, I love it. I love it. I'm going to say this. I cannot wait for 2023 when Joy's book comes out. She probably is not thinking about it, but I'm telling you right now, I cannot wait for your book to come out. If you never thought about it, we all need you to write a book. We all need you to take that beautiful brain of yours and put it on a book. Let us listen to it on Audible because you are a wealth of knowledge. And if you haven't, I'm telling you,
I'm getting to work.
I'll be the first in the line to buy that book. Guys, this episode is fantastic. Go out and share, get the knowledge, re-listen to what she's saying about keeping it simple on the wellness, breathe, be at peace, find joy in your life, put the foods in your mouth, put the fuel in your body that will keep you happy, that is not fake, that doesn't give you fake energy to feel good, but gives you that peaceful and calmness. I cannot wait for this to come out. It is going to continue to impact and change lives. Thank you, Joy, so much for being a part of this project. Guys, this has been another fantastic episode of The Art Study of You. We will catch you on the next episode. Have a great day.